Namaste. Good evening to one and all. Welcome to Leaders Connect 360. It's Women's Month special episode LC 108. Leaders Connect 360 is an CSR initiative by Bija Training and organized by the Mask Leadership. My name is Nandini, Senior Manager Quality from Oerlikon Friction System India Limited, Chennai. Leaders Connect 360 is started with a specific objective of inviting 1,000+ leaders and create 1 million leaders. It's an online hub where every Wednesday from 6:30 p.m. to 7:15 p.m. we learn from top management leaders on Zoom Live, and once in a quarter in each city we have an offline networking meet to network, support, and grow with the leaders. That's when we call it Leaders Create More Leaders. Currently all are muted, and we will be giving an opportunity to speak to our guest, Ms. Nandini Vijaisimha, Director Human Resource, MMS Holdings. Before you are unmuted, let me share that we are currently live on LinkedIn, and this episode LC 108 is being recorded. First-time visitors may click on the WhatsApp, Facebook, and LinkedIn link and the chat box to get updated and join us in creating more leaders. All in-house are requested to turn on your videos to see your smiling faces, which will help in making this episode highly interactive. So, are we all ready to have an interesting session with our guest, Ms. Nandini Vijaisimha, Director Human Resource, MMS Holding, on the topic of challenges in a leadership journey? Then share a thumbs up or smiley emoji in the chat box. Thank you. Before the introduction of the guest, let me also introduce Ms. Bhavini Pancholi, who is the moderator for this episode, who will have an interact with our guest along with the panel discussion leader, Ms. Alagu Lakshmanan. I shall welcome you all. Over to you, Ms. Bhavini.
Thank you, Nilay. Thank you for sharing the purpose of the episode. And welcome back, Nilay. Episode has been missing you and your presence of the curtain raising. Thank you for joining us today after a long gap. I take immense pleasure. And at the outset, I'd like to namaste and welcome to all the leaders and the guest of honor today. Ms. Nandini, the guest of honor, I take an immense pleasure to welcome you, ma'am, today. The HR of Director Human Resource and MMM at MMS Holdings, and we welcome the panel discussion leader, Ms. Alagu Lakshmanan, who is an LLP life coach. Welcome. both of you to the panel discussion today. I now request Mr. Arul, our strategic partner, to kindly play the video for our guest of honor and our panel discussion leader for the introduction, please. Thank you, Arun, for the video. Challenges, interesting topic and something which we all face. There's not a single place on this planet where we don't see challenges. From the time of episode of the earth unfolding to the time of episode to the presence of the life, we see challenges in everything. So challenges being the topic of today, as a leadership, I can see that if challenges are not there, there is no life and there's no excitement of life at all. But as a leader, let's see how challenges can be unfolded. So I request all our visitors to pay kind attention to the challenges of leadership journey, which is going to be happening with our guest of honor and Ms. Alagu, the panel discussion leader. I now request Ms. Alagu to kindly take over the panel discussion with our guest of honor, please.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, good evening.
Hi, Nandini.
Hi, Alagu. How are you doing?
I'm good.
Thank
How
you,
are you?
everybody, for the welcome.
How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. I hope the same from your end.
Yeah, I'm good too. So, shall we start?
Please.
Yeah. Okay. So, when I went through your profile, I found that you have immense experience in human resource, and you are there close to 2 decades with a continuous experience at MMS itself, and you would have grown up the ladder to this position for you now. So, how did you see yourself evolving as a leader?
Nice question. Thank you, Alagu. Before that, I would like to thank Bhavini and Arul for this wonderful introduction of me, and such a pleasure to be talking to all of you. And thank you for giving me this opportunity to share my experiences. So coming back to your question, Alagu, yes, it's been a long journey for me of almost 15 years with MMS itself. So when I joined them, I was the first employee, and I almost carried 10 years of experience behind me when I joined them. So evolving as a leader has been a challenge. And as I reflect on my career, I realized that more than just my hairstyle has changed. I had long hair initially when I joined them.
Oh, okay.
But then during this career that has spanned more than 25 years, I've seen firsthand how my skills and leadership qualities have shifted, changed along with the times, and I have evolved as a leader. At times, the shifts have been dramatic, shifting from a mentee to being a mentor. And at other times, they have been more subtle, from just a small change from active listening to being an informed educator. But one thing is clear, to succeed, you must be fluid and very adaptive. And one particular area that has fascinated me is studying myself on how I have evolved as a leader and how others evolve as a leader. And as I reflect on my own experiences and those of others, I believe there are certain goals to aim for during key periods of your life, like whatever be your age, there are 4 basic fundamentals to developing as a leader. One is be relevant, be present, have situational awareness, and learn to give and receive feedback. And in order to sharpen your leadership skills, I know age does make a difference. So when you are in the age between 25 to 30, where you actually start your career, you should actually consider yourself to be an apprentice. You should focus on defining your career path and your goals for personal and professional growth. And you should bear in mind that when you start, or rather where you start, actually sets the foundation to actually where you go for the next 15, 20 years. You may change multiple jobs and even multiple careers along the way, but your mindset for achievement should always be your fundamental constant. And as you gain in your skills and experience, you need to learn to be strategic in what you work on and with whom you develop relationships. Networking, the key of the game. You need to develop this habit pretty early on being generous and helping those who follow in your footsteps. Try to be philanthropic, because this is a quality you really need to strengthen as you grow in your career. Then we come to the next stage of our career, which is being 30 to 40 years old, which you call midlife, whatever. So in your 30s, it's now time to evolve and refine and create your own individual style. Now is the time for you to dream big and begin to aspire to who your highest ideals for achievement lies on. What do you want to be in life? You need to start becoming an expert in the field that you have chosen, someone who is seen as a go-to person for whatever questions they have in that field of whatever field that you are in. You need to start refining your personal mastery over your craft. Try to master as many things as you can and start building a personal brand of your own on how you want others to see you. That's where you start focusing on in that age. And you need to continue to focus on being relevant, making meaningful contributions in your work, in your community, and in your personal life. Then you come to the 40, 50 years where you're last part of your earning or your professional life. Not exactly last part, I would say, but sort of in the mid. And by age 40, your leadership style should become more defined and concrete, along with your vision for success. What is it that you envision for yourself as being successful? Start focusing on that. And by that time, you almost have nearly 2 decades of experience under your belt. So now you have the opportunity to assimilate all the lessons learned that you've gathered along the way and still be continually learning and get guided from both mentors as well as those you mentor. Your mentees teach you a lot, and you need to learn that while you're working with them. And you need to start putting these life lessons to good use and start applying them in your life. And this is also the time for you to focus on other things besides your work. Work is there. Yes, it brings you your bread and your butter, but then there are some things beyond work. Start putting them to actual use. Be bold, take risks in this age, and you just compete with yourself, not with others. So this has been the way that I have evolved as a leader, Alagu. Small gaps of this.
Awesome. It was very beautiful.
Thank
and when you evolved, like you would have had your peers with you. And when you became a director or whatever, what were the challenges you faced at the time with your peers, among your peers?
So as I joined this industry, I was very new to this industry. I joined in as a manager. So many of my peers were from this industry. So the challenge I had was I had to actually unlearn and relearn a lot of things with regards to the domain. The domain was the biggest here, not like other, because it's a very, specialized area that I work in, clinical research. So I had to really relearn, and I had to build in a lot of confidence for myself and establish the brand because we were new in the market. So this was some of the major challenges that I had in competing, and all through my career till then, I was working with local companies, who did not have a multinational base. But here I had to establish myself as a leader in the global space. So it was quite a big challenge moving myself up, moving myself morally, mentally, and emotionally up to a bigger platform.
Yeah. So how were you treated by the peers once you reached your stage? Whether the same?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, no, that was my question actually. Like, did you feel any difference in their approach to you, or were they the same?
Surprisingly, no. This where I work, people were really very friendly, helpful, and they have taught me a lot, as peers, how to actually be in this industry, what I need to learn here, how I need to actually make presentations with regard to the domain. So there's a lot that I've learned from my peers, and they've been very helpful. Like I say, started off with lucky me.
Awesome. Happy you have good peers with you.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
I really have been enjoying working with them.
Yeah. So did you face any specific challenges for being a women leader?
Again, lucky me, I would say, whichever company I worked from the time I started my career, I've always had people who have, encouraged me. The only time I felt that was when I started my career in a manufacturing unit, where there were a majority of the men who were at the senior levels. So there were some challenges there where I faced, about how they treat women.
Yeah.
So we had to fight our way up there and make my presence felt, and assure them that there is no bias, that women are expected to do only these roles. So there were certain things like that where if you are a woman, you cannot do other tasks, which was not acceptable to me. So there was some, but then I was too junior in my career for me to fight it out. But then I have taken that as a challenge the rest of my career and made sure women have had their fair share of work practices in all the places that I have worked. And that, I think, I have tried to vent it out in a different way, just from the initial stages of my life.
That's good. So totally contrast to the previous question. What are the advantages of being a woman leader?
Yes, I think that is one of my favorite questions, actually. So actually, I've had these discussions with multiple people, and I think personally, female leadership has many benefits. And a few of them, I can just break it down to some things like diverse problem solving. So whenever you have problems, even as a leader in the corporate world, the way you approach a problem is actually defined by your worldview, specifically your values and your behavioral patterns regarding conflict. And as a woman, we are used to addressing multiple problems in our daily life, which gives us a different perspective to solve corporate issues or corporate problems. Some might call it an emotional way of leading, but then that is the biggest strength women carry with them, or female leaders carry with them. They get emotionally bonded to their team and organization, which is a big plus and really much needed in the corporate world today.
Correct. Yeah.
Right?
That is what is talked about, right? Emotional intelligence these days. And I totally agree when you say we have a different perspective to issues. So we solve it in a different way.
That gives us a completely different perspective.
Yeah, true. Very true.
And I wouldn't actually want to generalize saying not many men have it, but yes, I would definitely say men have a different perspective to life, which gives women that advantage, as being a women leader. And another thing is it actually increases organizational collaboration. And I think there was a study also which was conducted, by Psychological Science, the magazine. Okay. They did a research on whether men and women's cooperation behaviors were diametric. And in that research, women were actually found to be more likely to offer partial support or conditionally cooperate in the social dilemma experiments that they analyzed, especially in corporate world.
Oh, okay.
And thanks to pandemic, a lot of research was conducted. And these 2 years of stress and exhaustion actually brought on by the effects of the global pandemic, women actually emerged to be strong leaders, which prepared to do more to support their teams. They were ready and available, and they helped advance diversity, equity, and inclusion efforts more than their male counterparts. And this was the research that was actually conducted. Oh, okay. Women also turned out to be keener to collaborate and build coalitions with their colleagues to increase support for corporate initiatives and combat actually institutional barriers. They actually fight against it. And these developments actually prove that women are more inclined to collaborate with peers and opposing stakeholders to reach an agreement. They actually want to, end the conflict. They don't want to continue it. There's no ego question there. They just want to have a peaceful life, avoid conflicts. So that really helps.
We always have an edge over when it comes to crisis management.
Absolutely, absolutely. And they also, having women leaders gives higher employee engagement. The success of a team and employee engagement is difficult to measure generally or diagnose, but it can definitely be quantified through the effectiveness of the team's communication. And today, employees with female managers almost state that their managers supported and helped them through 2021 or the pandemic by actually providing very strong emotional support. They were there, they were reaching out to people, asking, how are you doing? How's your family? What's happening with you? And they were actually checking in on the overall well-being of their employees.
You're more empathetic.
Data says more than the men counterparts.
Yeah,
and they were helping to ensure that workload was manageable. They were telling, you're also working from home, you have home things to do. How are you managing the office work, homework? And, trying to manage that workload was manageable. And this also helped to mitigate burnout. So this was majorly attributed to female leadership. And with all this, having an increased number of women in leadership lends itself to a workforce likely to be more trusting of its leaders. That has been a game changer for women leaders. And I also read somewhere, there was this former CEO of a company called Get Smarter. His name was Sam Paddock. And he actually said that he believed having females represented in the C-suite and leadership roles throughout his company had made a significant impact on the way the company is run and how decisions were made in his company. So I would like to end by saying the sentiment of trust and open communication is mirrored by the belief that women generally make better mentors than men, with all due respect to men, and not just in women mentoring women, but women who mentor men are also more likely to help establish a gender neutral workplace.
Kudos to womanhood. Okay. So it's a generic question. So what is the difference between being a boss and a leader? And sometimes we tend to become boss. So how do you refrain yourself from being boss?
Good question. Basic explanation would be a boss manages their employees, gives orders, while a leader inspires them to innovate, think creatively, and strive for perfection. And every team has a boss, yes, but what people need is a leader who will help them achieve greatness. So how do I stop myself from being a boss? Yes. There are times when I'm very tempted to ask my people to do things, but then I try to get into the room or the task myself by doing the task and showing them this is how it can also be done. It doesn't always have to be you. I'm also there with you. I'm a part of your team. Let's do this together. Mm-hmm. And I think that's what people above me taught me when I was growing. That is what I like to carry forward down to my team.
Okay. Okay. So for emerging leaders and new young generation, what is the, I would like to, request you to share a few tips and suggestions for them.
Sure. I think there's a lot that we can actually tell our own younger self, I would like to call it. One is, it is very important to possess self-awareness. One of the most important qualities for a leader is self-awareness. So there are certain things that I've heard, you know about yourself when you listen to how people introduce you. So the words that they use and the words that they don't use, or even if they don't introduce you, are some kinds of feedback to you on how you are as a person. So that self-awareness is very important for you to grow as a leader. It carries with you. The most important thing again is to garner credibility. Credibility is the name of the game to be a leader. How credible you are, how people look up at you as a leader. The next is you should really work on building your network or focus on relationship building. Gen Z mostly today are very aware of what they want as a generation. But what they forget along the way is networking and relationships are very important. They really need to understand that, because for all of us today and the generations before us, relationship made a lot of difference more than materialistic things in this world. And I think they need to really understand that it's important to focus on relationship building and have a focus on action. Talking is very important, yes, but if you don't convert it into action, again, the second point I said, credibility is definitely lost. You need to build on action on the words that you talk really about. And with all that, humility is really important. If you're always talking about yourself, people don't think much about you. So you're a good leader when you make somebody else feels how good they are versus how good you are as a person. So that is something that they really have to carry with them. And don't be a boss, always be a leader. In the sense, empower your team. And that comes trust. Trust people that they can do what they are capable of doing. Give them the end goal and let them do and choose the path for how they want to actually achieve it. And again, coming back to the second point, if you have to garner credibility, you need to really stay authentic. Be true to yourself. Don't fall to prey to what others want to think about you, or don't think about what impression you want to create on others versus be yourself. And always important is be persistent, constant, and consistent. That's the name, which is in a short form called discipline. Maintain that discipline. And that will give a message to people as to what exactly you are as a leader. And you are indirectly creating a personal brand of your own through all this, which is what a leader needs. Yeah. I hope I answered your question.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, that was the thing. Important qualities of leadership. So awesome. Thank you so much for answering all the questions, Nandini.
My pleasure.
It was very enlightening.
Thank you very much.
Over to Bhavni.
I'm still downloading a lot of things that you shared, Nandini. But it just like in just a gif, it just went off like that, and I'm still like trying to understand from the top of your haircut to the bottom of your change of shoe. I'm wondering how the leadership journey would have progressed and the mindset you have understood and you worked yourself. So I believe the leadership of challenges are basically the ones who aim to be the squads in their work and who want to hone that very well with their team and take the team together is something which is a incredible journey which you have taken for yourself, Nandini. Thanks a lot and amazing work. Amazing sharing of thoughts and amazing questions, Alagu, for asking. That's allowed Nandini to reflect on her journey, and that's been really amazing for us to all know how well it is and how creatively you have made a world for yourself, which is amazing. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you,
so
Bhavini.
much.
And why I was specifically mentioned about my hairstyle is I did have quite a long hairstyle when I started my career. So now it's become really short. So that's why I wanted to talk about my hairstyle.
Trust me, you look beautiful with that cut as well. So I can see the sharpening has happened very well. And that's taken you a nice journey of development. Great. Moving to the next segment of our Leaders Network episode is the quiz. So if I can quickly ask a quiz question to all my in-house participants is 3 pointers which our guest of honor, Ms. Nandini, had shared with us with regards to qualities of leadership. 3 main pointers she shared with us about the qualities of a leadership. If you can quickly put them down on the chat box, we can know the prize winner for today's episode. Arul, can you help me with the ones who are having the chat box giving me the answers?
Yes. People are answering.
Self-awareness, credibility, yes. Humility, nice. Self-awareness, credibility, build network, excellent. Jay has given me the first 3 understanding of leadership qualities. Staying authentic, nice, very good. Lovely. Empowering your team. Nice. Thank you. So I can see that people were connected and rooted to the understanding of the episode and the leadership challenges. We may take the time to disclose the quiz winner, the next segment. Whoever it is, congratulations for all who have participated and understood the challenge of leadership today. Thank you all for being there, for understanding the episode well. We will reach out to you once we declare the quiz winner today. Yeah. Moving to the next segment, let me take an opportunity to welcome and introduce our author of the week, who is Miss Avilasha. Avilasha, can I have you on screen, please?
Hi.
Hi, Avilasha.
Thank you.
How are you?
Hi.
Good evening.
I'm good. Thank you so much for the opportunity to, connect and listen to such a wonderful discussion. I mean, I've sat through the discussion and Nandini ma'am said some really important things, which I'll take with me, going forward. So thank you so much for this wonderful event.
Great.
Yeah.
I'll just have your introduction to be announced to all of them so that everyone knows what Avilasha has given for the morning for all of us. We're now moving to the evening, so we'll know the morning first of Avilasha. Can we do that?
Yes. Sure.
Great.
So hi, everybody. Yeah.
Could I give the introduction and I'll give you the time to talk? Is that okay?
Sure. Sure.
Great. So Avilasha Sharma likes to believe she is a poet first because she began writing with poetry, specifically nature's poem, and still she keeps doing that. Although her first book ever was a novel, When the Cuckoo Called, after a master's degree in political science from Miranda House, University of Delhi, Avilasha began working in the content space as a writer, traveling through diverse tropical environments from an intern to a team lead, a full-time to a freelancer, from an ad agency to a media startup. Wow, that's too much. That's nice. Hitting a crescendo of post-pandemic to launch out on her own. It began with self-publishing her second novel, The Morning, The Post-Youth Feeling 2021, showing up on social media as a storytelling earthling, accidentally nurturing a global online nature poetry community called Poetry Earthlings in appreciation and awareness, altogether culminating in the creation of a greater content brand plus space plus platform drawing from being an earthlings at earthlings.co.in. This is romantic. This is very nice, actually, very nice beauty of romanticism, to get energy from the nature. Trust me, I have been an ardent fan and follower of romantic poets like John Keats, Robert Frost, Coleridge, and William Wordsworth. They all have been the amazing journey of natures to transform their energies of love and romanticism, to put it in lyrical ballads, which you're offering. We see a lot of novels, but a very few people to work towards the poetry. So amazing poetry calling that you're doing, Avilasha. So this is basically a knowledge of abundance, which you're going to be sharing in forms of your lyrics to all of us today. So I give you this amazing understanding of how poetry is unfolding for a lot of people to understand the romanticism very well. Great, Avilasha. So if you can just take 2 minutes of your 2 minutes to introduce yourself and to talk about your book, please, to all of us.
Thank you so much for taking the time to introduce me and reading out my bio so well, and your beautiful words that accompany. Poetry is something that a lot of people say that there is no point writing poetry because what good does it do? But while I have started writing poetry, I've found it to be very like self-aware, helped me in getting self-awareness and also networking, because a lot of people, you find a lot of people write poetry and build a community among itself in social media, which is why I felt like there's a need to keep it alive. And also what I've realized more than the final product, it's the act of writing poetry which helps, the act of doing it which puts us in a state of flow where we can create and do whatever else we do in our work and everything else. So to introduce myself, I'm Avilasha Sharma, and I'm an author and a writer, and I have been writing since I was 9. And I wrote a book when I was in college in Miranda House, Delhi University, and that book got published in 2017, and it's called When the Cuckoo Called. I think you have already given the introduction. And for me, writing is something that I do, to find answers to questions asked. Because I have a lot of questions everybody has a lot of questions, when you in every day, when you go forward in life, we have all this, what's the point of this and what to do next, and through writing, I have found a lot of answers, and those answers that I've found, I try to, share it in the form of storytelling, which is where morning comes in. So morning, I have to use the word self-awareness because even Nandini ma'am, spoke about it. For me, morning is a book of self-awareness. It's a question that it started with a question I asked myself, and then the book was a result of answering that. So just to give a brief about the book, morning is called so because morning is every day, like in the morning is the time in the day when we all have this we don't have worries, and our mind is clear, and it's like this freshness we have. And the book is titled because I wanted to convey that freshness while somebody's reading it. So basically the idea of the book is if somebody's reading the book, they feel uplifted and fresh and clear and clarity, like we feel every morning when we feel that. And the story, to give a brief, it's about this person who loves traveling, and he questions, like he starts traveling because he loves it and builds a career around it. And then he reaches a point where he gets tired of traveling itself, and he's questioning himself, what is the point of doing something I love and getting tired, and there's another person, the other protagonist is a woman who has a very routine existence and has built her career around, her very comforting, very in her comfort zone, and she wants to let it all go and, take risks and take a chance at life. So when these two characters meet, they unveil the next part of the journey, which is both answer each other's questions. And then you'd have to read the book to understand that the conclusion of this question of, is something that would really that's the point of morning. Like, if when you're asking a question and you find that answer, we are like, for example, we get into our passion, like we pursue our passions because there is this, the feel good in it. There's a flow that we seek. And that journey itself is what answers our questions. And that feeling, when we get the answer, it feels like morning. So that is the point of the book, although it's a work of fiction. And the book
Nice.
is set in different parts of the country, so it travels, different. I like to travel myself, so wherever I've been to, all the places I've been to, I have it stayed with me, and I've used that all those places as a background for the book, and it travels across the country in India, and will give you a taste of different places from a traveler's point of view. So yeah.
Lovely, Avilasha. It's like amazing
Thank you.
form of detoxing yourself to know your morning better and to know yourself better. Connect yourself to lyrics and connect yourself to the satirical approach of life, which we all need to have because it's the Gen Zs today, if I can blend both your logic of the book and Nandini's contribution of challenge, I can say the Gen Zs have this challenge of first approaching of their awareness and then taking up that stage. So trust me, the rhymes will blend well with the questions of the morning, and Nandini's idea of challenges is amazing form of blending resource which we can offer to a lot of people. Trust me, from the place where you come, Delhi, a right start of a morning. Absolutely right start of a morning. I hope you got what I meant with Delhi over
Sure.
there. With
So
lot of-
actually, I'm from
lot of-
Assam. I'm from Assam, but I studied in Delhi and I lived, I worked there. But yeah.
So you must have seen challenges yourself very, very, very closely, and you must have also faced them to understand and unfold, which has moved you to write a book and moved you to write more closely so that you can put down your thoughts there and people can read and understand themselves.
Yes. Absolutely.
Nice, Avilasha. Thank you. Thank you for your time and thank you for joining us today in the episode. Looking forward to get networking and connected with you soon for our upcoming episodes. And if that could be the complimentary book which we would give to our winner today. If Arul, can you help me with telling me the winner for the day, please?
Yes, to be honest, the winner for today's episode is Jay, I guess. Jay, yes.
Lovely. So you were the first one who gave the qualities of leadership
Yes.
to the point of what Nandini had given very clearly, the 3 points: self-awareness, guarding your credibility, and building a network and relationship, which also was a proof of pudding of Avilasha's book. So congratulations, Jay. And Avilasha's book is going to be a complimentary. So Arul, the team partner, will be able to connect with both of you and will be able to help you with the book as a appreciation. Congrats, Jay.
Thanks.
Moving to the next
Congratulations,
segment.
Jay. Thank
Moving
you.
to the next segment. Can I now have the open forum for all of us to have an interaction with Miss Nandini? All those, we can do it in 2 forms. One is either you ask a question directly to Nandini, raise your hand and we give you an opportunity to ask the question. Otherwise, you can write down your questions in the chat box and we take it up on your behalf. Yes, the forum is all open for all those who wish to ask questions to Miss Nandini. Yes. Who will go first? Okay, if I can ask the question, can I begin? Oh, yes, Mr. Sendil has already raised his hand. Yes, sir. Welcome back. I've not been seeing you in the episode for quite some time now.
Yeah, thank you very much, Bhavani. It was really awesome session. And I'm really blessed by Nandini's silver stream bullets message.
Thank you.
Actually,
Yes, sir. Your question.
for the benefit of the team, I have one question. How do we navigate through the naysayers or the person with a negative mindset trying to bring in more humility or giving humility as a challenge in your workplace? How do we overcome or how do we navigate such kind of situation? Because you said that emotional is one kind of a winning strategy, but here in this kind of situation, emotion doesn't work. Because with emotion, we try to get ourselves frustrated and things go out of control. And that can be an easy cakewalk for the supervisor to sack or kick a person out from organization. So in such kind of contradicting situation, how do we navigate humility?
So there are 2 ways to look at emotional, Mr. Sandil. One is being emotional by showing you're emotional. And another way of being emotional, which I meant, was bonding with your team. So sometimes you need to get those people to be emotional, share their thoughts for you to actually bring them onto what the thinking positively, I would say. So when you have a naysayer, ask them to repeat what they say a couple of times so that they hear what they are saying and try to ask them, why do they see it the way they are? Addressing the root of the problem. And emotional always doesn't mean somebody has to cry or be angry, or It's also about how you want to bond with that person. So every time we talk to our children, we are emotional, but that doesn't mean that we are angry, shouting, crying or something. We're just trying to bond with them to actually understand what they are trying to say. So sometimes all they need to do is for you to listen. Probably once you listen and ask them to repeat a couple of times, you might want to agree to what they are saying and then give them a few examples as to why you think another perspective might help. You're not telling them, you're suggesting them and making them try to take a look at another perspective. I don't know if I convinced you with my answer, but I would go with that approach.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So children are actually a best resource of trying a lot of things where we can work out and we can get them going in today's world. So yes, Mr. Sindhu, I also had the same understanding of how do we challenge in today's time with such kind of Gen Zs coming up with challenges and problems. My question to you, Nandini, was if I can take a mythological aspect, who according to as a mythological leader stands out to be the person to be challenging or an example in today's world or today's time, who I can take it as an example to tell people that, look up to this hero. We have a fancy hero of Marvel worlds. I'm not looking up those kind of superpowers. I'm looking up those real-faced people of mythological times, like Ram is there, Krishna, and all the others, those who we may not know. But who, according to you, was a leader who can fit in today's time?
My favorite character would always be Arjuna, because Arjuna was very focused. He was also a mentor. He was a mentee. He listened to people when he had to. He had a strategy. He listened to Krishna when he had to. He did not argue his way out of it. But he also advised people when needed. So I think he's a very perfect example of humility, being a mentor, credibility. He had his own credibility. When there was times it was difficult, people always looked up to him. And he was a master in his field because he could close his eyes and shoot the eyes of a spinning fish. So I think he truly had all those qualities that we speak of as a leader. And I think he was also great in networking. He had many wives. So in his own way of networking. So that would be my hero.
No, in that aspect, if I can say and if I can understand that, yes, if we can have that many, then we are an amazing people to network in today's time.
That would be difficult. I wouldn't want that kind of networking, but yes.
Yes, lovely. I can really understand now that why challenges have been down the lane. It's never been narrowing. It's only been able to take its shape as in how people are seeing. Like the stream who passes what passes by, they also take their twists and turns, and that's how they basically look into it. So thank you so much, Nandini. It really made me reflect on who I was thinking, and as you showed and you reflected on the mirror of it. Thank you so much. That answered my question. We have a next person who's wanting to ask a question. This is Miss Uma. Yeah. Hi, Uma. Good evening.
Hi, Uma.
You need to unmute yourself, Uma. Yes. Yes,
I'm unmuted.
Yes, now you're unmuted.
Yes, my question is to the speaker of the day. Yes. She was speaking about mentor-mentee. Yes. And my question is regarding that. The first question is how to find a good mentor who's who can guide you as per your requirement. And second question is how to what are the sources where we can meet those mentors?
Okay. So how do you find a mentor? So there must be somebody. A mentor is generally a person who is professionally guiding you. There are different ways people guide you. Mentor is mostly those people in your professional life who can mentor you, guide you, and show you where you need to go or answer all your questions there. So when you're working in your workplace, you must be looking up to somebody who is very good in what they do. A mentor can also be someone at your own level. It doesn't always have to be senior. It also depends on how you want to approach them and what is it that you see in them that you want them to guide you, or what is it that you look up as a mentor. And where you have to look, then there are multiple areas. One is close by to you in your own workplace, around where you live, or there are multiple platforms like LinkedIn. LinkedIn majorly, you reach out to people who are at your own level or higher in your own field, where you keep contacting them, connecting them, and you actually reach out to them and say, I admire what you do. I look at LinkedIn on your profile. Is there some way you can mentor me for me to grow at what you are doing right now? Or at least whatever your aspiration is, you tell them and help them to mentor you. So you need to really be that kind of person who can reach out to people and There is nothing wrong in walking up to a person and asking them if they can be your mentor. Maximum, they might say no, nothing beyond that. So that gives you an experience of taking that initiative and asking people to want to be your mentor.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for this wonderful insight. And
Thank you,
I'm
ma'am.
looking forward for you to be my mentor. It is
It'll be my
really a
pleasure,
fun
depending on
role.
what is it you want to do.
Sure, ma'am. I'll connect one-on-one through LinkedIn.
Please. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ma, for your question. Arul, there is Mr. Jay who wants to ask a question. Is there any way we can help him unmute? He says that there's a technical issue with unmuting himself.
Yes, I'm doing.
Yes, if you can just help him unmute, then he can ask the question directly. Possible to unmute?
In the meantime, quickly unmute him. In the meantime, I would like to speak. Awesome, Nandini. It's been really excellent. Thanks very much for joining us today for the Leaders Connect and being as a guest of honor. It's been really good and excellent pointers that you're sharing. I'm really very inspired to see your energy which you're spreading amongst the room, the way you give answers, tremendously superb. I really like the way how you've been doing it. Really great and going. So we have one more last. Bhavin, I believe we'll take one last question for the day because already I believe time is up. So
yes.
Check with Jay, and he's the quiz winner, right?
Yes, he's the quiz winner, and he has a question as he's unable to unmute. So if I just take it up on his behalf, is that okay?
Please go ahead.
Yes.
Yeah. So Nandini, Jay has asked a question. Can I take it up?
Please do.
Yes. Okay. So he's asking that what is the most dangerous behavior or a trait that you have seen derail leaders' career?
Okay. The most important thing that I've seen is lack of wanting to take feedback. So if you're not open to feedback, it's definitely a doom for you, because however big we grow, whatever we are, feedback is the only thing that helps us to grow. It's a challenge as you grow as a leader to take feedback. But like I said, there are multiple ways. The way people talk to you through their body language, the way introduce you, the way they actually, they tell you a lot of things through all this. So you should be someone who's open ears, eyes everywhere to watch out for this and take continuous feedback. If you don't take feedback or not looking at growth, that is where, or self-learning, that is where I see a leader's graph going down. I wouldn't call it a doom, but definitely going down. But thank you, Jay, for that question.
Yes. Thank you, Jay, for that question. I hope Nandini's answered your question. Anyone else? Prakash, if you want to ask a question, or anyone else who wishes to answer a question, or else we'll go to the next segment.
Yeah, definitely done. There's no specific question as such, Bhavani. But Nandini, it's really great that you've been here with us today. And
Thank
the
you.
key points, what you've shared has really added value to the community. I'm sure the people who have joined us today will definitely would have got many more insights in terms of this leadership journey, what is given. Great, in fact, Prabhakaran says great insights. And yeah, thanks very much, Devarayan, for joining us today. Good to see you today. And we also have Nagarajan as there today to see you. Good to see you all today. Thanks very much. And yes, over to you, Bhavani.
Prakash, for giving me this opportunity. It was wonderful.
It's always been a pleasure. And I did really like even our author of the week, Miss
Avilasha.
Avilasha. Yes, thanks very much. Really good and very inspired. We'll give you an opportunity, Avilasha. There's one more which we do is called Authors Arena, which we'll be sharing it with you. Our team member one, Mr. Pankaj, will also stay in touch with you. What we do, we'll get you know a little later. And then what is Authors Arena? What we do, we are by inviting authors, a separate community. As you already spoke about community, we have that as well. And we'll stay connected. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thanks
Thank you. It will be my pleasure.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Bhavani and Alagu too.
Yes, true. True, that's very important.
I must tell, today's episode has got our old heroes back. I have been missing to see Prabhakaran sir, Devarayan sir, Senthil sir, Nilay Nagaram sir. All these people have been the heroes of our episode, and I've been waiting to see them. Maybe they have been the roles behind because we had the Women's Week, and they have now come. So thank you all. It's amazing to have you all back. So now moving to the next segment, I request Mr. Senthil to kindly help us with the summarization of our episode. Trust me, he's an amazing storyteller. He gives capsules of the episode like no one can do it. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Bhavani, and giving me a very strong positive insights about me. As time keeps pressing, let me without any delay, let me start with the showers of wisdom what I gained in today's session. So we started with a very strong metaphor saying that to succeed you must be fluid and very dynamic. There is a very deeper message in this. So like how water gets adapted to the situational awareness, we as a human need to be more adaptive by being more fluid. So that was a message what she started with the metaphor. And second thing is be relevant, live in the present, have more situational awareness, and learn to give feedback. That is exactly what she has said 3 times today. And when you start the career, be focused and have a thirst and curious, like apprentice. Look for a foundation where you need to be 20 years from the present. And second is be a philanthropy. Try to give as much as you can, so that more you give, more you get. By age of 30, try to master yourself, start building your personal brand, start focusing on how others want to see you. By the age of, when you become 40 years, allow the vision to be more successful and guided with mentors, and try to learn from others. Be more, compete with yourself to see the better version of you rather than competing with others. This was one of the very powerful message which everyone can imbibe through this. And when we work in any organization, try to have be more guts to unlearn as well as relearn, so that we can adapt it to that new workplace. And always get surrounded with the people who encourage you, people who try to lift you up. And this was one of the best way that we can shine in a workplace, and try to be in a diverse problem solving case. And the strength of the women has been very clearly been nurtured with quoting the site from a Get Smarter book by Seymour Selish, where he has very clearly mentioned that women nurture the next generation in a dedicated superior to the male warrior who are out hunting.
Oh, that's good.
The next is for women, the winning strategy is one such quality is emotional, carrying emotional at the present, and which takes to analyze a problem in a different perspective. And women are able to handle even a crisis situation, as well as the support the corporate even during the pandemic situation by trying to be a more in a complementary leader. Being in a complementary leader, the traits of a good leadership quality is be with more credible, built network, self-awareness, and try always finding to discover the potential of others. So in that way, we can help the team to grow, and be always true and authentic to yourself. And the coining of wisdom has been a very clearly coming out with be persistent, constant, and consistent.
Awesome.
That is really on the top of your head. You had not written down anything. Trust me, seriously, that is metaphorically insane work that you have done. No wonder I can call you proudly as a storyteller, Sandil sir. Amazing work, lovely.
Yeah, I think it was better than what I said, actually. Thank you, Mr. Sir.
Amazing, Sandil sir. You did a very brilliant job. I think the capsule and the nutshell of the entire episode, you did very well. Metaphorically, your insights are way better than a library in stores. So trust me, the Leaders Network Connect cannot be more grateful and thankful to have you anytime and every time around us. Thank you so much, sir, for
Thank you
this
very much.
summarization.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Moving to the next segment, I now invite Ms. Priyanka to kindly share the vote of thanks and introduce our next week's leader, please.
Thank you so much, Bhavani. First of all, I really want to thank Senthil sir for the beautiful summarization. And thank you so much, Nandini ma'am. It was a beautiful topic. And the first thing which I like the most is to take risk, because risk is very important in our life. And in some scenarios, I think we youth are missing, because we never want to take risk and we want to earn more and more, how much early it can be possible. So thank you so much, ma'am, for sharing this beautiful experience with us.
My pleasure.
Thank you, ma'am. Before me sharing about the next week episode, let me quickly share again the purpose of the community. For the visitors who are attending for the first time, Leaders Connect 360 is an hybrid model leadership community where every Wednesday from 6:30 p.m. to 7:15 p.m., we invite a top management leader from a reputed corporate training company to suggest some solutions for a real-time leadership challenges. Like we experienced, we had today, what Nandini ma'am has shared with us. It's very simple to join our community. Do click on the below social media links. Let me know. Take an opportunity to announce our next week guest, Mr. Kannan Sugantha Raman, Chief Financial Officer, Omega Healthcare. Episode will be on 10 guiding principles. Join us on 12th April 2023, Wednesday 6:30 p.m. to 7:15 on Zoom Live. Registration link for the episode will be shared through social media platform. And really, thank you so much, ma'am, and thank you so much, Alagu ma'am, and thank you all for this beautiful episode we had today. And thank you, our author, Avilasha.
Avilasha.
Yes, thank you so much. Sorry for that, Avilasha. Sorry, I'm really sorry for that. Guests and others in the house, kindly accept our gestures of thanking through a medium of thanking video. We request the new members and visitors to stay tuned till the end as we give an opportunity to introduce ourselves, which will help us network better. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Priyanka, for sharing the vote of thanks. And before we go to the next segment of wrapping up episode with a thank you video, I take immense pleasure. The team of Networking takes immense pleasure in welcoming and thanking all of you to be a part and present for today's wonderful episode, which was unfolded very well by Ms. Nandini, our guest of honor, our panel discussion leader, for a beautiful, insightful questions and her experiences shared with an amazing answers by Nandini. Avilasha for sharing her thoughts and beautiful morning of her unfolding book with us. Thank you so much, all of you. All of you made the evening very, very resourceful for all of us today. I'm sure we have a lot of bags to carry with us with an understanding of this episode today. So thank you all. I request the members, new members, to kindly stay back for the introductions so that we can know ourselves, each other better. Nandini, if you're having any work and you would want to have a prior engagement which you want to attend, you could we could have you after have your absence taken. So that's if you can let me know, would you want to continue with us so that I can begin with our vote of thanks video?
Sure, I don't mind being there.
Great. Thank you so much. Yes, Alagu, you wanted to add?
Before we start, I would like to thank you, Prakash and Arul, for giving me this opportunity. And thanks to Nandini for these awesome insights.
Thank you
pleasure.
For answering so precisely to the questions. That was awesome.
Nice. True.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. It was nice. Amazing.
True.
Thank you.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Lovely. I request Mr. Arul to kindly share the video, thanking video, and then we can have a networking for the ones who have just joined us. The video is Thank you, Arul, for that thanking video. Now can we have